So here we are once again with Big League Live, ladies and gentlemen. It is round 22. It's a Friday before. It's a crunch time for a lot of teams this weekend, and we're going to touch on the 4 teams that are currently on 22 points and all in equal 8th spot. Guys, as I said, it's coming to the business end of the comp. We've got 4 teams on 22. They are Titans, Knights, Tigers and Dragons. Who do we see finishing in that top spot?
Look, I know I said it last week, and I sound like a bit of a, repeating myself a bit, but the Dragons have got the best run home. They're playing the Roosters tonight, and then I think, from memory, they play 1 out of 5 of the top 8 teams, and then the final 5 games. So if you compare that to the Knights, who 5 of their final games are against top 8 sides, the Titans have 3 of the 5 against top 8 sides, you've got to say the Dragons are probably the most likely to pull it off.
I think the Roosters would love nothing more than to throw a spanner in the works tonight and give the Dragons a touch up at Allianz Stadium. The Dragons should win. No Jamie Soward. He's going to play New South Wales Cup tomorrow. But I've got a sneaky suspicion the Roosters might fire up for this one and really throw a spanner in the works for those Dragons top 8 spot.
And we've got the Tigers playing the Eels this weekend as well. Obviously the Eels are actually coming in some top form in the last 2 games, but the Tigers need to win this weekend.
Apparently, mathematically, the Eels are still a chance to make the 8. It's not going to happen. But I expect if the Tigers can't win on Monday night, they won't make the 8. It's as simple as that. They can't afford to drop that one. They were pretty average against South last week, and the Eels have been terrific for 2 weeks in a row, but I can't see them winning again on Monday night at Campbelltown. Tigers to keep their finals hopes alive.
Yeah, look, I've got to say it's going to turn out to be a bit of a relevant game, and besides from the fans, because obviously the Eels aren't going to actually do it, and I just don't think the Titans are a realistic chance of making the 8 at this stage. I think you just got to put a line through them now.
The Titans gone.
Oh no, the Tigers, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Tigers against the Eels, yeah. No.
That leads me into the other team on 22 points, Titans, the absolute bolters of the competition, and they've obviously got South this weekend, which, look, it's going to be a cracker of a game.
Absolutely. If the Titans can win this one, they take control of that 8 spot and have a pretty decent run in with a couple of games they should win at home to finish off the season. So tough assignment. South are travelling on really nicely, but Titans have got lots of momentum. Back at home should be a nice afternoon on the Gold Coast on Sunday. So hopefully the Titans fans get out there and try and give their boys the boost they need.
But even saying that, I mean, next week they play the Storm down at Amy Park, so even if they were to beat South this week, all it takes is that one loss next week and that momentum's gone, and then they're going into round 24 needing 3 wins or something. So it's still really, really tough for the Titans.
They're all important at this stage. Every game's important, especially the home game. So, but every win you get is a step in the right direction.
And obviously the Knights are also on 22 at the moment. Another big game against the Dogs. Look, Newcastle are coming in a bit of form at the moment, and look, probably their best chance now to actually push for that top 8 spot.
Yeah, I think it was last week. I don't know if I said it on here or on somewhere else, but I thought the Dogs were actually going to lose last week to the Cowboys. It didn't happen, but I just think they're due for a loss. The halves issue, it's got to come unstuck at some point. They can't keep winning with so many injuries they've got in the key positions, and I just think the Knights are going to get them at home.
The beauty of what the Dogs are doing is they're not relying on their halves. Joel Romello's a stopgap solution at the moment until Chris Keating comes back. And Chris Keating is not considered one of the top halves in the competition either. So they got to where they are on the back of the Keating-Reynolds combinations, testimony to the way they play and the threats across the park. I still think they'll beat the Knights. I think there's just too much in the Bulldogs for 80 minutes for the Knights to get over the top of them, even accounting for the Knights' good form of late.
Okay, so guys, out of those 4 teams, Dragons
or maybe Titans.
Tony?
Yeah, Titans for me. I think Titans can get that 8th spot. I think if they can win at least 2 of their next 5, might be enough, but I think they can get 3.
You just want to say Tones Titans. Has a good ring to it.
They're going better than Tones Titans and the Dream Team, that's for sure.
Look, I'm going to say the Knights, actually. I think the Knights might be a dark horse, an absolute bolter, again, considering the start of the season they've had. Look, in 7th spot are the Sharks. They've got a 3-point buffer at the moment in front of these teams. They need to come into some form just to cement that spot too.
Yeah, they need 2 more wins. 1 won't be enough. And they've got a really tough run home, probably the toughest run of anyone. So it starts in New Zealand on Sunday afternoon. So big game for the Sharks if they can start well against the Warriors. That should keep me in good stead. But I think the Warriors will be too good.
Yeah, I just get the feeling the Warriors are going to be like far too good for them this weekend. I think they'll get out to another big league. I mean, Mateo's been in such good form. He's just been so dynamic around the defensive line, and I think this time they're not going to let another big league slip, surely. And you know, the thing though is, I just get the feeling the Sharks will end up coming down to that one drawn game, because I can see the Channel 9 promos now about, you know, all the 1 point, you know, all that type of thing. So I think they'll still make it, but I think they'll just scrape in without a lot of momentum at this point.
Okay, guys, as I said, a big weekend for rugby league as we approach the finals time in 2012. Thank you, Tony.
That's Tony.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was jumping into you. That was Big League Live again, round 22. Enjoy the football. We'll be back next week with an early preview of round 23.